Imagine for a moment being trapped in a world where you cannot understand those around you. And try as you may, they cannot understand you either. Now try to imagine that feeling as a child, and you have some idea of the struggles faced by the 1 in 88 children in America who are suffering from autism.
Autism is a neurological disorder that results in a severe disruption of the normal developmental process, and it causes children to fall farther and farther behind their peers as they grow older. It occurs in the first 2 years of life, and it impairs language, social skills, adaptability, cognitive functioning, and basic learning. Children with autism don't learn the same way typical children learn. They need specialized treatment.
While there is still much to learn about this condition, one thing that all researchers and educators agree on is that early intervention is the key to children with autism overcoming the worst of its symptoms and achieving their maximum potential.
Early intervention is critical for children with a diagnosis of autism, and that's because typically developing kids are entering school already with a really good skill set in speech and language, as well as with very few learning barriers. And so if a child with autism doesn't have those skills, the gap just gets wider and wider. So we need to work quickly and we need to work effectively in order to narrow that gap, keep it as small as possible, because it'll just get harder as they get older.
One of the most effective and proven interventions is the use of applied behavior analysis, or ABA, as practiced by the Behavior Analysis Center for Autism.
Every introductory psychology book that's used in the college system in the United States has a chapter on learning. And in that learning chapter, it always covers the work of B.F. Skinner, laying out behavioral psychology, its basic principles, the science of behavior. The application of that science became early known as behavior modification. That's now called applied behavior analysis. And it's those concepts and principles and techniques that have had an incredible impact on teaching children who have difficulty learning skills.
The staff of developmental specialists at the center realizes that while educators recognize the value of Skinner's work and ABA, they are not always sure of the best ways to apply the techniques for a child with autism.
Many people have the impression that ABA is a specific set of procedures that generally involves young children sitting at a table answering questions, and that based on their answers the children either receive rewards or reinforcements or not. And they don't see it as applying to other aspects of people's lives. And it very much does. It applies to all different types of skills that you might teach somebody out in the community as well as sitting at a table, and it applies to individuals of all ages.
Educators, parents, and children alike applaud the work being done by the Behavior Analysis Center for Autism to help families dealing with autism.
The NET has been really valuable to us. Firstly, to help us how to implement the school's behaviour management plan in our home so that we had consistency across home and school. That was really valuable. Having a fresh set of eyes looking at what was going on for Jimmy at home and how we were responding has been extremely valuable.
In 1999, the Surgeon General of the United States declared that intense ABA training, such as given at BACA, is an effective treatment for children with autism. Yet today, it is a practice that is still not widely used, even in special education classes.
We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. Every person who has autism has the right to the most effective behavioral treatment. However, treatment is often denied by people, agencies, or institutions who don't have a good understanding of what behavior analysis is. At BACA, we brought in a good team of PhD behavior analysts from around the country. And it is our goal to take everything that we know about behavior analysis treatment and extend it and to promote it. Promote it until it's a given that every child with autism or other developmental disabilities who needs it will receive effective behavioral treatment.
Since 2009, the Behavior Analysis Center for Autism has been helping children with autism and their families cope with this often mystifying condition.
I saw the value, as did Dr. Michael and Dr. Sundberg, in the extension of Skinner's analysis of verbal behavior to the treatment of children with autism with language disorders, especially their language assessment. And BACA represents my attempt to get this out on a larger scale, Skinner's analysis.
Through a proprietary program of advanced applied behavior analysis, Dr. Sundberg and the entire staff of BACA are dedicated to seeing every child with autism achieve his or her maximum potential.
The biggest challenges that I see that are facing special education teachers is that a special set of skills is required to work with children with autism, and those skills come from, I believe, the field of behavioral psychology, that is, learning the procedures of prompting, fading, reinforcement. They're difficult procedures to learn, and most college programs do not prepare special education teachers with those kind of skills. They're just not part of the curriculum of many programs in the United States. Teachers have to learn them often on the job or through other kinds of consultant activities. BACA has contributed to that by providing training programs, by providing various kinds of workshops for teachers, and also for advancing the materials, the data collection, the technology to impart this information to teachers in an easier, more user-friendly manner.
BACA creates an enriched environment specific to the special language acquisition needs of the child with autism. However, the professionals of BACA understand that autism education must occur beyond the classroom.
You use it with children of all ages. You use it in natural settings that children will be expected to respond in later, and adults use it with adults. You teach functional daily living skills. There's all sorts of applications of behavior analysis, and if it's done properly, it results in learners who are very skillful and not the slightest bit robotic.
From Dr. Sundberg and all the PhD BCBAs that work with our kids, down to the therapists that are frontline working with our kids, all that, they are dedicated to our kids and embrace them and love them and want to help and will go over and above to do that.
If you or someone you know has a child with developmental difficulties or has been diagnosed with autism and you would like to learn more, please visit BACA at www.thebaca.com.